How will the acceptance be for electric propulsion in the market, and how will do consumers want electric driving? And said, many people will be surprised not only about the green aspects of the car. It is clear that this is providing independence from petroleum, it is emission-free, it is making no noise. I think this is the obvious story. But the next stage in understanding on the consumer side will be that electric propulsion is opening up a new dimension in driving refinement and driving experience. And probably, I don't know how many of you have driven pure electric vehicles, but what you see is the electric propulsion system almost enables what we as engineers always were looking for in the last 50 years. It is just enabling that refinement where you have torque at 0 RPM, you just get that sheer acceleration and no noise with it. It is a thing that you are, maybe some of it you have seen in very luxurious vehicles with very large combustion engines where the noise was isolated and you had large engines to generate. You will see that in that car. That launch feeling that is something that people have not expected. Now, when you look back at ecological vehicles and how they were positioned, I think in the past, being environmentally friendly was always connected to a sacrifice, or you have to give something up. We were working with gear ratios and acceleration and elasticity to really improve the fuel efficiency. The Volt is fundamentally breaking that paradigm because you can create all the environmental benefits and still get the fun to drive element in this car. The car has 150 horsepower, and the torque that is built up in the electric machine is equal to a 250 horsepower V6 engine. This is how it feels to drive a Volt, but without noise. So I compare this a little bit like this is like flying. The experience is completely different. Now, this is a piece customers will learn and will be surprised about. We also expect there won't be a single customer that is not test driving the Volt before you actually purchase it. And I give you just some feedback what's happening. We have currently mule cars driving on our proving grounds and on the test tracks. And we do this since a couple of weeks with production intent components. So we have vehicles driving around that have the real components that finally will go into production. And then as you can imagine, many of our senior leaders have an interest to drive those cars and get a first-hand experience how those vehicles behave. And then what you observe, because they have been trained over the last decades almost to judge vehicles, and then you see this, it takes you just almost 30 seconds, and you get out of this parking lot and you drive this car, and then you see this initial smile about how those vehicles are performing. And it is something that we were never able to achieve with traditional technology. And this is, at the end, why people say it is the technology of the future. Electrification is more than just being independent from petroleum. And therefore also we positioned the Volt rather on the sportier side, because we want to make that transition from a conventional car into the Volt as easy as possible. And you don't have to do much rational explanation. This is how you save. The whole package, when you buy finally a Volt, should something where it is harmony from the design to the vehicle performance to the efficiency and also to the overall affordability of that car. So this is the philosophy behind it. By the way, the reason why we have chosen the Chevrolet brand for the Volt is also an explanation that this is not like premium technology, unaffordable. The idea is broad, wide appeal, large customer groups, and making this technology accessible.